Rajeshwari MJ. She pursued her BE in Electrical and Electronics at the People's Education Society College of Engineering, Mandya. She pursued her MTech in VLSI Design and Embedded Systems at the Sri Jagadguru Balagangadharanta Institute of Technology, Bangalore. Her personal skills lie in good verbal and written communication skills. Her areas of interest lie in OOPS with C++, renewable energy sources, HVDC transmission, digital relays, automotive electronics, advances in VLSI design. She has also had papers presented at the national level, such as the Innovative Architecture for SoC Multi-Core Hybrid Processor, presented at the RNSIT, Bangalore.
Welcome to UGC lecture series of BSc Physics Honours. Today we are dealing with the subject electromagnetic theory. In this session we are going to concentrate on rotatory polarization. So the rotatory polarizations have the topics that is we are going to discuss in this session are optical rotation and also the laws of Biot's. Biot's have a certain laws, it deduce certain laws that is called as Biot's laws for rotatory polarization, and also the Fresnel's theory of optical rotation, and at last we are going to discuss about a type of a polarimeter, that is Lorentz half shade polarimeter. So very firstly we are going to start with what is optical rotation. So optical rotation, it is when a plane polarized light is passed through certain substance, the plane of polarization of the emergent light get rotated through certain angle. So about the direction of propagation of light. So this phenomena is called as optical rotation. So the plane of polarization will be rotated here after the polarization. So this can be easily observed in the picture here, where we can see the monochromatic source, and which is after that where we are going to have a prism is placed inside between this will going to have a polarizer. After next to it there is a polarization. After this we are going to get a linearly polarized wave. This is a linearly polarized wave. When it is again fed to a certain substance, we are going to get a polarization, that is a linear polarized wave will be again get, but it is a different angle, that is a plane of polarization will be met with a certain angle here. So from compared to this polarized light and this polarized light, the plane is entirely different. So the plane of polarization is now it is at an angle of alpha, compared to this it is it is tilted at an angle of alpha in this here. In between the analyzer and the sample concentration, that is C, that is what we are taken a sample concentration, which is called as optically active medium. When the polarized light is fall on optically active media, we are going to achieve a some slight rotation in a plane of polarization, that is it may be of alpha angle. So this can be easily observed here. So the optical rotation can also be called as optical activity. So this optical activity is very much useful for this is having certain characteristics, and there are different laws about this rotatory of optical rotation. There are certain laws that and all we discussed in the upcoming slides. So the optically active substance are of two types. So we need an optically active substance for optical activity. So that is what it will going to change the plane of polarization, which will be within certain angle. So we know optical active substance has to be there for getting a optical activity. So the optical substance will be of two types, that is optically active substance will be of two types. One is dextrorotatory or right handed, or lavorotatory or left handed. So these are the two types of optically active substances. So here clockwise is what also we call as for dextrorotatory, and counterclockwise is for lavorotatory. If in the picture we can observe when the source is made to fall on the monochromatic filter, where we can get only one type of light that is passed from this monochromatic filter, and which is made to fall on the polarizing filter. After this we can able to get a linearly polarized light from the polarized filter. This can be made to on the sample cell, where we can have a optically active substances. We can observe here where the plane of polarized light here and here it is slightly rotated when it comes to the sample cell, that is where which is called as optically active substance. So, you can observe that here the rotation will be slightly different compared to this, where it is linearly polarized here. After it is met with some optical active substance, it will going to tilt here. We can make it as a tilting, that is how the tilting will be and what does will be what are the steps that will be that we can make to tilt this plane of polarization, so that for our requirement can be discussed in the upcoming slide. So, some of the laws that is for a rotatory polarization is reduced by Biot scientists. So, this is called as Biot's laws. In 1815 Biot studied the rotation of plane of polarization and he deduced some of the laws about rotatory polarization. So, these are the different laws of Biot's laws. So, let us start with the very first observation that he made about the rotatory polarization, that is angle of rotation of the plane of polarization of the polarized light of definite wavelength is directly proportional to the distance L. So, the angle of rotation will be directly proportional to the distance L. This is what the first law it says, and the distance that is covered by the polarized light is optically active medium, which can be like a solid, a liquid, a gas or any solutions that can be taken as a optically active substance. So, what it is says this angle of rotation of the plane of polarization will be directly proportional to the distance, that is L. And next one is the angle of rotation of the plane of polarization of polarized light is directly proportional to the concentration of the solution or vapor, that is angle of rotation, that is theta, is directly proportional to C, is what the second law says. And next is if theta 1, theta 2 or theta 3 are the angle of rotation of the plane of polarization light by different optically active media. So, different optically active media which is having different angle of rotation. So, then the resultant angle of rotation of the plane of polarization by the mixture is algebraic sum of the angle of rotations by different components. So, if it is having different angle of rotation of different optical medium, which will be a algebraic sum has to be made. So, for dextrorotatory substance, these are the convention that we made for dextrorotatory and lavorotatory. For the dextrorotatory substance, plus sign is to be taken with the angle. So, with the angle measured, there is a slight variations in the plane of polarization due to the dextrorotatory or lavorotatory. If it is dextrorotatory, plus sign will be indicated. If it is a lavorotatory in front of the angle measured, we can take it as negative. The next law is angle of rotation produced by the optically active substance is inversely proportional to the square of the wavelength of polarized light. So, that we can, these are the laws that will be observed when unpolarized light is made to fall on optically active substance. So, this is also based on angle of rotation that is produced due to the optically active substance, that is inversely proportional to the square of the wavelength, but here optical angle of rotation is inversely proportional to the wavelength. So, that is the square of the wavelength we can say it. So, all the angle of rotation is telling angle of rotation is now depend on different factors like concentration or square of light or anything or distance, it is going to depend and it is going to change the light. So, thus the angle of rotation of a red color in white plane polarized light is at least for a violet color is maximum. So, the angle of rotation for red color in white plane polarized light is least and for violet color it is maximum. So, thus if white plane polarized light is passed along the optic axis of the optically active substance like quartz, the transmitted ray gets dispersed into different colors. So, this phenomena is called as rotated dispersion. So, this is another term and he can come up with another when we are going to met with a white plane and it is having a polarized light is passed along the optic axis of this optically active substance like a quartz, which will going to disperse this white light into several colors. Thus, dispersion is called as rotator dispersion. Next, the angle of rotation of the plane of polarization of polarized light produced by the medium also depends upon the temperature of the medium. So, now we can come to the conclusion that angle of rotation is a main concern that we observed in the Bayard's law. So, it is dependent on various factors, that is, it is proportional to the distance, and also it is proportional to the concentration of the solution, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the wavelength, and it is also proportional to the temperature of the medium. So, these are the different factors that we observed in a Bayard's law, that is dependent on the angle of rotation. Next, we move on to the Fresnel's theory of optical rotation. So, Fresnel observed some of the things in optical rotation. So, when a plane of polarized light enters a crystal of calcite, so along the optical axis it is resolved into two circularly polarized vibration rotating in opposite direction with same angular frequency or velocity, such that the resultant of these two vibration at all point of time is along the optic axis. So, that when a polarized light is made to fall on a crystal, we will get two types of wave, that what we know already, E ray and O ray, and the resultant of this the two ray, it is in opposite direction will be there, and the resultant of these two rays, that is come from the calcite crystals, these two having a vibrations at all points will be having a continuous vibration will be there, and that too on a optic axis will be there. The resultant of these two will be on optic axis. And also the vibrations rotating in clockwise, we can observe in the picture, that is, if the vibration that we consider is it is rotating in clockwise direction, that is represent as OR, is what we represent the vibrations in the clockwise, and the vibration that is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, that is represented in OL here in the picture A. And also the resultant of OR and OL at all point of time will be along AB. So, this is the resultant of these two vibration, OL and OR. OAB is the resultant of these two. So, in case of quartz, so quartz, if we consider optically active device, a linearly polarized light on entering the crystal is resolved into two circularly polarized vibrations, that is having a opposite direction, and also it is having a different velocities. So, if we consider the quartz as a optical media, this polarized light will having a different velocities. So, which is having a different velocity is what the resultant wave, and also the different frequency, and also we will get the angular velocity will be different in a resultant one, and also the frequency also will be different in the resultant one. So, next consider a right handed quartz crystals in which clockwise component travels faster than left handed components. If we consider a case that when right handed will be faster than left handed one, suppose at any time of time right handed component transfers an angle of delta greater than the left handed component, as shown in figure 1, where we can observe that right handed is what OR we previously says, left hand is OL is what we meant. So, if it is travel slightly greater than what we previously discussed, that is it is going to, there is a new plane of vibration, that is of delta. So, what will happen? A new position of the resultant of L dash and OR dash. So, L dash is what, the new one, and the OR dash is what new one is produced from the right plane of vibrations, that is on the right hand side. And also we can say it will be along a CD. This is a CD is the plane, a resultant plane that we observed from OL dash and OR dash, that is newly formed when a right handed will be having a more, that is it is going to have a slightly larger, that is an angle of delta is met. So, that is a plane of vibration of light has been rotated through an angle of lambda by 2 towards the right after passing through quartz crystal. So, the angle lambda by 2 here is what we are indicated. This is angle of which is greater than what before we discussed, because which is going to be an increase in the angle that is previously discussed, that is of delta. So, delta by 2 is what rotated on the right side. So, the angle lambda by delta by 2 depends upon thickness of the crystals. So, these are the observations that is met with the Fresnel's theory. So, the mathematically how we are going to deduce the what are the discussions that we have made previously and observing the picture. So, for calcite crystals which is optically inactive, when linearly plane polarized light enters a calcite crystal, it get resolved into two circularly polarized vibrations. So, this is what we know previously according to Fresnel, and one is moving in an anticlockwise with the same angular frequency or velocity we consider, and as each circularly polarized vibrations further consist of two rectangular components in this case also, and it is having a phase difference of n by 2. So, the clockwise circular vibrations will be like this. The clockwise we consider, which is having a components x component and y component. So, x1 is equal to a sin theta, that is equal to a sin omega t, and y1 is equal to a cos theta, a cos omega t is written. And again for clockwise circular vibrations in x2 and y2, that is x2 is equal to a sin theta, that is equal to a sin omega t, and y2 is equal to a cos theta, a cos omega t. So, from the above, the resultant displacement of vibration along x axis and y axis, that is we can say x is equal to x plus x1 plus x2 and y is equal to y1 plus y2, and substituting the x1 and x2 value here and y1 and y2 value here, we will get the x value as 0, and for y value we will get 2a cos omega t. So, hence the resultant vibration has amplitude that is 2a, which is greater than what previously had. So, we can say the amplitude of resultant vibration is 2a and is in the plane y axis, that is along original direction AB only. Hence, two oppositely circularly polarized vibrations give rise to a plane polarization has to be deduced with this mathematically proved example. So, if we consider another case for a quartz crystals with optically active. So, previously what we consider the first case which is having optically inactive, which is not optically active quartz crystal. Now, we are considering the quartz crystal that is having optically active. So, when linearly plane polarized light enters a quartz crystals, that is a right handed side, it gets resolved into circularly vibrations moving into opposite direction with different angular frequency. Here we observe we were getting here a different angular frequency and also the velocity. So, in a case of right handed crystal, clockwise vibration travel faster than the anti-clockwise vibration. So, that at any instant of time anti-clockwise vibration has traversed angle theta and clockwise vibration has a traversed angle, that is theta plus delta. We know that clockwise vibration is which is having a faster than the anti-clockwise. So, it is theta plus delta. Delta is an additional angle that is moved by right handed vibration. So, clockwise vibrations. So, therefore, the component of two circular vibration at that instant is what we can given by, again we are considering for clockwise vibration, that is x1 is equal to a sin omega t plus delta and y1 is equal to a cos omega t plus delta. So, for anti-clockwise circular vibration, it is only we are observed here, that is only omega t is we consider, that is x2 is equal to a sin omega t and y2 is equal to a cos omega t. So, same first steps is followed for the resultant x will be x1 plus x2. Substituting the x1 and x2 value, we are getting the x value as 2a sin delta by 2 cos omega t plus delta 2 for a clockwise vibration, and for y that is equal to y1 plus y2. Substituting y1 and y2 value here, we will get a y is equal to 2a cos delta by 2 cos omega t plus delta by 2. So, these are the two components of x and y of we are getting with the help of clockwise vibration and anti-clockwise vibration. So, the resultant vibration along x axis and y axis are in same phase, we can observe here by getting this which is having in the same phase. So, the resultant of these vibrations in plane polarized and makes an angle of delta by 2, which original direction of AB. The phase will be same, that is which is going to make an angle of delta by 2. Here also we can observe the phase will be same even after, which is the clockwise or right hand vibrations will be moved an angle that is greater than what previously is, which is having an angle greater than, that is theta plus delta. So, thus the plane of vibrations get rotated through angle delta by 2 towards the right after passing through a right handed quartz crystal. So, from above we can able to get a tan delta here, that it is tan delta. If we want tan delta, we can have tan delta by 2 is equal to y by x is what, if we want to tan delta by 2, that is the value will be get by y divided by x. So, next we move on to another topics, important topic that we need to know, that is angle of rotation. So, if mu r and mu l be the refractive indices of quartz crystal for right handed and left handed vibrations respectively, then optical path difference on passing through a quartz crystal slab of thickness T, that is given by. So, the path difference is given by, which is having a refractive indices of mu r and mu l of a quartz crystals, that is for right handed the refractive index will be mu r, and for the left handed vibration the refractive index will be mu l. Then the optical path difference on passing through the quartz crystal slab, which is having a thickness of T, we can give the path difference will be mu L minus mu R into T. So, this is what the path difference we can give. So, if a lambda be the wavelength of light used, then the phase difference also we can able to get, that is delta is equal to 2 pi by lambda into mu L minus mu R into T. So, this is represent the path difference. So, by from this we know that the angle of rotation will be delta by 2. So, that is given by delta by 2, we just we have taken 2 here. So, delta by 2 is equal to pi divided by lambda into mu L minus mu R into T. So, this is the angle of rotation. So, next we move on to the another topic what is very important about the optical rotations or optical activity. We need to know that is a specific rotation. So, when a linearly plane polarized light is passed through an optically active medium or a substance, the plane of linearly polarized light get rotated through certain angle, either towards left or right is so far whatever we discussed, that is what the optical activity. So, the angle through which plane polarized light get rotated depends upon certain parts, and this angle is called as a specific rotation. So, this specific rotation is going to depend on certain things, that is thickness of the medium, density of active substance or concentration of solution, and also it depends on wavelength of light and temperature. So, the rotation produced by 1 decimeter is given by, which is considering the specific rotation. We are going to find how this specific rotation will be defined exactly with the technical words. So, the rotation produced by 1 decimeter. So, if we say it is A is equal to 10 centimeter, long solution of concentration which is having 1 gram per cubic at given temperature for given wavelength is known as specific rotation. So, this is given by S lambda, that is equal to 10 into theta divided by LC. So, where theta is what the rotation in degrees and L is equal to length of tube in centimeters. So, C is what the concentration of the solution, that is we are taken for optically active medium or solution, that is concentration of solution in gram per cubic centimeter, and T is equal to temperature, and lambda is equal to wavelength of linearly polarized light. The rotation produced by optically active medium or substance or anything or solutions that we have taken can be measured with the help of polarimeters like Lorentz polarimeters, that what we previously discussed. We will be used for finding the rotation, that is specific rotations or rotation that is produced by the polarizer. So, next we move on to Lorentz half shade polarimeter, which is used to measure the angle produced by the polarized light. So, it consists of a monochromatic source, that is S, which is placed here at a distance, which is placed at a focal point of a convex lens, which is a source. L is what? The convex lens, and just after the convex lens there is this is the L represent the convex lens. Just after the convex lens there is a Nicol prism, here it is present, which is represented by P, which acts as a polarizer, and after that there is a H, which is indicated by H, is a half shade device which divides the field of polarized light emerging out of the Nicol prism P into two halves, generally of unequal brightness, which is going to divide this coming out of the polarized light that is coming out from Nicol prism into two halves, which is having unequal brightness. So, this is what the half shade device. After that it will going to have a T glass tube, which is represented by T. T is a glass tube in which optically active solution is filled inside this. The light after passing through this T or optically active solution is allowed to fall on another one, that is called as A, which is analyzer or analyzing device, which is also a Nicol prism. So, it is a Nicol prism which can be rotated about the axis of the tube. So, this can be rotated across the axis of the tube. So, the rotation of the analyzer can be, again this rotation can be measured with the help of a scale. So, scale is placed here after the analyzer, which is named as C. So, after this there is where eyepiece is there, after this is eyepiece for an observer. So, this is how a Lorentz half shade polarimeter will be arranged for measuring the angle of rotation. So, finally, we come to the end of this session. In this session, we are purely concentrate on optical rotation or optical activity, where in optical activity when a plane polarized light is passed through the optical active device or certain substances, the plane of polarization of the emergent light get rotated through a certain angle about the direction of propagation of light. So, this is what a basic definition of an optical rotation. So, Fresnel observed some of the things about the optical rotation. So, according to him, when a plane polarized light enters a crystal of calcite along optical axis, it is resolved into two circularly polarized vibration rotating in opposite direction with same angular frequency or velocity, such that resultant of these two vibration at all point of time is along the optic axis. So, we know that when it is passed on an optical axis, it is going to divide into split into two rays, but resultant will be also produced, that will also always arise in the optic axis. And also we come across a device that is going to measure used for measuring the angle of rotation by Lorentz half shade polarimeter. So, here the instrument which is used to measure the angle of rotation of plane polarized light that pass through optically active device, that is called as polarimeter. We discussed about Lorentz half shade polarimeters, how we are going to arrange the different things inside the polarimeter for measuring the angle of rotation with the help of Lorentz half shade polarimeter. Some of the questions of this session are: what is optical rotation? Mention the Biot's laws for rotatory polarization, and what is a specific rotation? This ends the session. Thank you.